Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. We're here for match day 4 as Wolves travel to Selhurst Park to take on Crystal Palace. Delighted to be alongside D today. D, how you keeping, man?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good, bro. Thanks for having me on. It seems like every time we come on here, we talk about different managers. But yeah, here we are once again.
Yeah, I mean, for Wolves, I'm sure we'll speak more. We'll do a preview on D's channel as well, talking about the whole Lopetegui situation. We'll start off with your manager, though, D, because I remember maybe not last season. I remember it was the last year under Hodgson, just before he'd gone for the first time. And I remember you, and not just you, probably Palace fans in general, were just fed up of the football. And then obviously you had the Vieira time, which was quite exciting, and then it went sour a little bit towards the end. And then Roy Hodgson's come back in, and he got you guys playing well. I don't know about the style of football, but got you some wins, big wins, and ultimately kept you in the Premier League. What's your thoughts on him? Because I think probably this time last year, we would be surprised that Roy Hodgson would still be the manager now. What's your thoughts on him? What's the sort of Palace outlook on Roy Hodgson at the moment?
Well, there's a divide, but I feel like as the games have gone by, there's been a bit more of unity. I think the main question with Hodgson reappointment for another season is that it's a short-term appointment, and there was a few managers out there that we could have potentially went for.
Yeah.
But it seems like the club wanted to go with a safer option due to the fact that we was, more than likely going to lose Zaha, which happened, and then of course Elise, which we saved him last minute. So it seems like the club were expecting a rocky season, and if you're expecting that kind of season, then you want a Premier League manager who is experienced rather than going and bringing in a younger manager like we did with Patrick Vieira, especially when things are not clear. So look, my whole thing with the Hodgson scenario is the fact that he only came to Palace because he has love for the club. I genuinely don't think he would have came to Palace towards the end of last season when we didn't win a game for about 3 months if he didn't have connection with the club. And he came in, he done a job, played some excellent football, by the way. We played some attacking football. Not only did we win games, we played some attacking football, won games, and done it all without Zaha. So based on the last 10 games, based on what he was saying, I think the club wanted to reappoint him because they felt like he could get the most out of the squad this season, which I'll be honest, it's been a good start to the season so far. But then again, next summer, we're going to be in the same position because I doubt we're extending his contract by another year next summer. So yeah, it's basically the same old with Palace.
You'd probably hope now for Palace if I think he should be, he's strong enough to stay in the Premier League for sure. But you'd hope sort of by January, the board are looking at options to replace Hodgson, whether that be managers at other clubs and start, open conversations, or whether it be managers out of work at the moment. So pretty much by the start of pre-season, you got a new boss in charge, and you go from there. The summer for both clubs has been quite big, D, because I would say both clubs have almost lost their poster boys. Obviously, we lost Ruben Neves. We were sort of resigned that he was probably going to leave this summer. And obviously, you boys lost Wilfried Zaha as well. How much of an impact do you think that will have on Palace? And have you seen much? Obviously, you were without him for periods last season, but have you seen much of Palace? Do you think you guys are missing him so far?
There is a weakness down the left. I mean, going from Zaha to Matheus França, you can basically see the drop off literally there. Like, França, I'll say drop off because we haven't literally seen França play. But then again, the other alternative right now that we have is Jeffrey Schlupp. And I'll be honest, the less I speak about it, the better, because every time I speak about him, I get in a wrong mood. Not because it's his fault, but it's just simply not good enough. If you lose Wilf, you expect to be better. As I mentioned, França is the replacement signing. Well, apparently so, but he hasn't played so far. He's 19 years old, joined over from Brazil for 25 million euros. Funny fact about him is that they've also added a 5 million euro clause if he's nominated for Ballon d'Or. So I'm not saying he will be, but
I hope
that's how highly, how highly they rate him. But yeah, look, start of the season, it's without Zaha, it's without Elise. It's only been Eze that's been the main creative player, but we have made additions that won't be as high on the radar, such as the likes of Lerma. Joining from Bournemouth, well, he was a free agent. Coming to Palace on a free is fantastic bit of business. It's not just business that Palace wanted to do because he was cheap, but he genuinely adds quality to the side, and we've seen it in the last 3 games. Him and Doucouré, fantastic. So yeah, we've still got a bit of business to do. Of course, saying this in the next, I don't know, few days or after this is posted, we might have done some more business, but yeah, the Palace squad, it isn't quite there without Zaha, but it's still got talent. It just hasn't got depth. And we saw it against Plymouth in the League Cup as well. I mean, we had to bring on our first teamers, and then we scored 3 goals in 4 minutes, but without them, was losing 2-0 away from home, and that sums up Palace right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, there's still a couple, as we record, this is still a couple of days left in the transfer window. It sounds like it might be a busy one for Wolves with Mateus Nunes leaving. So this will be out Friday, so things may have changed slightly, D. But do you think, like you said, France and Lerma are the 2 big ones for you that have come in? Do you think there will be any more business for Palace? Or do you hope there's 1 or 2 more players through the door?
Yeah, Dean Henderson, he's coming through the door as well.
Yeah.
Medical is all complete, so he should be coming around for £15 million. But I'll be honest, that's raised more questions than answers. I mean, we're losing Vicente Guaita because he wants to go back to Spain and we need a replacement. But Dean Henderson wants to be first choice. There's no way he's going to come to Palace wanting to be second choice. And this summer, we gave Sam Johnson the number 1 and we made him our 1. And he wants to be first choice as well. So we'll see how that works out. But I'll be honest, there will be more business. There has to be more business with Palace. A striker, funny enough, Wolves were linked with him, Iheanacho. There's talks about him still going on. He could be one coming through the door and maybe another like a winger to add depth, especially down the left-hand side. As I mentioned, França could be that option. But apart from him, there's Jeffrey Schlupp, who's not really a left winger. And you know, he's better coming off the bench. So yeah, 1 or 2 more signings, and I feel like we could be there in terms of first team squad. We just have to hope that we don't get many injuries, because if we do, then that's when you see the weakness of this Palace team.
It sounds a very similar situation to Wolves, really. I think like the 11, I'm pretty happy with, and we do have obviously some good depth in certain areas. But for Wolves to have an okay season, I think they've got to avoid suspensions and avoid injuries. And obviously, it sounds sort of similar to you guys as well. I'll quickly flag up on the screen my starting 11 for the game against Palace. I did in my predicted 11 make a couple of changes to the team that beat Everton, but I think it will be Zaha in goal. An unbelievable performance for him against Everton. I think Aït-Nouri will keep his place at left back with Dawson and Kilman and Semedo at right back. João Gomez and Lamina in the middle. I think Cunha will obviously start. I think Neto will start, and probably Sarabia in there with Fabio Silva up front. I think Kalajdzic still, hopefully, another super sub performance. D, obviously, you mentioned a couple of players injured there. Elise was one. Is he going to be available? Is he going to play? Or what roughly, how do you think Palace will line up on Sunday?
So he'll still be out. France will be out as well. So it'll just be a similar lineup to what we've seen in the past 3 games or so. So it should be Sam Johnson in goal with Joel Wood at right back and Gehi and Joachim Andersen at centre halves with Tyrick Mitchell at left back. It should be, well, we'll see what happens with the formation, because we did change it about with Brentford in the second half, and we reverted back to the system that Hodgson played towards the end of last season, which was attacking football. But the personnel should still be the same in terms of it should be Lerma, Doucouré and Eze in midfield. Down the left, unfortunately for us, fortunately for you guys, it should be Jeffrey Schlupp. Up front, Edouard. Saying that, it might even be Mateta because he scored a hat-trick, so we don't know what's going to happen there. He scored a hat-trick, but he wants to leave the club. So God knows what happens on come Friday. And then down the right-hand side, it should be Jordan Ayew, which I'll be honest, it doesn't sound exciting, but Jordan Ayew right now is on fire. He's had about 3 assists so far this season, 2 in the Premier League, 1 in League Cup. Not only just assists, he's just been absolutely dangerous. I don't know what's got into him, but yeah, he's on fire right now. So funny enough, I know we got Eze, but Jordan Ayew is another one to watch out for based on form.
Yeah, Mateta definitely putting himself at the shop window. We'll have to wait and see.
I hope so. I hope. No, I really want him to leave because he's got some massive goals. He's like a cult hero for us, but he's simply not good enough for the Premier League. I can't. It's scoring 1 goal in like 5. That's just not enough, or 10 for his case. It's just not enough. So yeah, he scored a hat-trick against Plymouth, but with all due respect,
he found his level in.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we were saying. But yeah, let me be quiet because I know if I say this on our channel, people will get onto me. But yeah, he has found his level, and we'll see. He's linked with Leipzig, to be fair. So
yeah, hopefully he can get some money back off him as well. But it's been, I would say, looking at ignoring obviously the win against Plymouth this week. Your first 3 games, beating Sheffield United, losing out to Arsenal, which I think you were unfortunate in. I watched that, or the second half, especially you were in that game, and then drawing to Brentford. I think that's a start that most, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, most Palace fans would have taken. 4 points out of the first 3, considering the opponents. So 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. What's been your take so far? I know you mentioned, are you there? Any standout performers or any plays that you think Palace fans need more from this weekend?
So in terms of rating, because someone actually asked me this question, what do you rate the season so far out of 10? I think I'll give it 8 out of 10. The only reason why I'm giving 8 and not 10 out of 10 is due to the fact that if we got a point against Arsenal, that would have been fantastic. Look, as I said, this Palace squad has got very good first team players, but we have players that are injured. And despite the players that are injured, despite, even the positions that we haven't strengthened yet, such as up front, we have got a win against Sheffield United. Not only the win, but we played some solid football, kept possession, and we should have scored more goals against Arsenal at home. The reason why they beat us is from a penalty. We were solid defensively, and then when they got the red card, maybe we could have done a bit better, but I think it was just down to talent rather than tactics mainly that let us down. But it was a narrow 1-0 defeat against a side that was competing for the title last year. And against Brentford, in the second half, we created more opportunities than them away from home, and we managed to get points. So look, overall, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with the start of the season so far. But I'm going to be honest, if we want to, do something good this season or exciting, we have to try and beat Wolves at home. That's how I see it. It won't be easy, but that's you guys probably thinking the same. Like you want to go and get wins against sides like Palace, but maybe it's a bit more different playing away from home. But this is a game I'm looking forward to where I'm hoping that we get 3 points, especially at home. But yeah, look, I've been happy so far with Hodgson ball. And even though it might be a year, I want us to go long in a cup. I want us to achieve top 10, which is what he wants, but that won't be easy, of course.
Yeah, I mean, last season, you both midweek games. Obviously, you guys, I went to Selhurst Park. You guys came from behind to beat us in that game. That's under Steve Davis, where Wolves were just all over the place, and then we got the win under Lopetegui at Molineux towards the end of the season as well. So I think a lot of Wolves fans are looking at this one, and Palace fans will think the same. I think for both sets of teams, they're going to look at the match and think, yes, it's going to be tough, but 3 points is doable. Both teams will look at that, but I know and I can accept Selhurst Park is a very difficult place to go. So I think it's going to be a really close game. If you had to put your neck on the line, Dean, give me a score prediction. What do you reckon?
There's one that's been stuck in my head like all week, ever since I've been thinking about this game. And it's 1-0 Palace. I don't know why, but I just can see something like that happening. Due to the fact that at Wolves, you lot have played pretty solid to the start of the season. Look, against United, you should have won that game, let alone come with nothing out of that game. You got absolutely robbed. And, you got thrashed by Brighton, but it's still, if you had a bit more quality up front, you could have finished your chances and it could have been a bit better. And then the most recent game against Everton that I saw as well, maybe you started a bit slow, but you got into it in the second half. But the problem with Wolves and the benefit I think that Palace can get is you got some quality players that can run at defenses, but it's just that end product. I know you beat Blackpool, I think it was 5-0 in the League Cup. Was it? Yeah.
Found our level there,
found our levels. We both found our levels. Plymouth and Blackpool scoring 4 and 5 goals each. We scored 4, you scored 5. But I still feel like Palace's defense should be able to try and stop Wolves' attack. And I don't think we've got so many goals in us, but at home, I could see a 1-0 would be such a typical result. For your sake, I hope I'm wrong, but I could just see that happening. I don't know why. I can just literally see that happening. I don't think it'll be too many goals.
No, I think it'll be a narrow game. I said that against Everton last week. I got my I think I said 1-0, so I was pretty bang on with that. Obviously, the game probably didn't go the way we wanted it to, but very quickly going back to your 11, Joel Ward, I know obviously he's a more experienced player, but do you think that's possibly a weak link for Palace if we've got you down that left-hand side? Or no disrespect to him, I just don't know, obviously, his qualities.
I wouldn't say possibly. It is a weakness.
Oh, right, okay.
It is our main weakness. And the goal that we conceded against Brentford, yes, it was a great finish. But if you go watch the highlights, you can see that it was just poor defending. It was down his side. He basically showed him inside. He basically navigated him to the goal. But he's had a relatively solid start to the season as well, and a good finish towards the end of last season. So he's been okay. But saying that, I mean, yeah, he is our weakness. There's no other ways to put it.
It'll be interesting on Sunday, D, because I've noticed a lot, and even against Blackpool, but every single league game, if Fabio Silva starts, he somehow always tries to pick up that space between your right back and the right centre back. And you know what? He's quicker than people give him credit for, Fabio Silva. So I think it'd be interesting to see if he can try and get him behind from that side. So keep an eye out for that one on Sunday as well. But D, before we finish off, where can people find you and the channel and what you've been up to on there?
Yeah, Back of the Nest on YouTube, Crystal Palace fan channel. So we do reactions, previews, and of course, Dave will be jumping on as well for an opposition preview. So make sure to check out Back of the Nest on all the usual platforms: TikTok, X now, I was about to say Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube mainly as well.
No, I appreciate that, D. It's good again to have you on for another season. Hopefully, it could continue for seasons to come. But yeah, apart from
Hopefully.
Sunday, all the best for the rest of the season anyway. And yeah, I'll
But
catch you soon, man.
thank you for having me on. Thank you for having
Cheers,
me on.
brother.
But yeah,
Thank you.
let's see what happens. Thank you.